Ooh.
They go for the Mars, and things become a little bit more confusing now for 496,
Ooh.
but they don't seem concerned. They go into the OD pickup. So now I'm very confused between these two teams, John, because both teams have two heroes that have been run in the mid lane. We have the Void Spirit and OD for 496 that can be both run in the mid lane, and for Neon, which is it's a little bit different, but they do run the Mars Snapfire mid. So we did see Yopaj yesterday running that mid Mars and went 20-0-18
Yep.
or something. Wouldn't blame them for going down the same route. It may be a little bit challenging against the OD, however, but they could still do it.
They definitely can. I like the OD for 496 mainly because you've got this Astral into Arrow combo. I'm wondering what 496 wants to do with the Void Spirit now, though. You've already got Mirana Phoenix as your support, so potentially offlane Void Spirit here for the side of 496 for that BB. I think that might have to be the play unless they kind of flex it out again into a different role. But it is a very different draft for 496. We have seen them do this, and we have seen them pull off these stranger drafts before. So I think I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. This were really snap picks, especially with that OD. Neon, you talked about the flexibility in the Mars. Remains open. They could easily just have their pre-core lineup here and last pick a support for play hard to really start to flex around with, which looks like it could be the case. Really depends, but quite a different game too. Like we saw the snap come in, you see the Undying. We thought it would be a bit more straightforward, but you've got this interesting back and forth. I don't think any other team would ever draft this way. Like Neon and 496 are just taking this in a very different direction.
That they are. Last pickup now, they are lacking a position 1. It does seem like we're probably going to see the offlane Void Spirit here for 496. What do you want it as a POS 1, though? Like, it seems like you kind of want something that gets online early, and I would have kind of brought up the Ricky again if it wasn't banned out by the side of Neon. Again, they do still have that PA if they feel like they can run it up against the Void, though I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Also, the Spectre is still there, but it's a bit slow when you, especially when you combine it with the OD. It can cause you some problems. Could be considered a little bit too greedy if you went the Spectre OD.
Yep.
What do they want, though?
It's a tricky one to say. I think a lot of good ones were banned out by 496 as well. I'm not sure. I'd say Life Sealer is looking decent in terms of at least eating through the Mars, but it doesn't do anything to the Void. Yeah, it's Spectre.
They go into the Spectre. Okay. It
Not a
does feel
fan.
very slow. It really does feel
is.
quite slow into this this draft of Neon.
It is. Haunt Supernova is pretty nice though, so maybe you play around that timing. Blade Mail build up probably coming out for Drew. It's just that Haunt is just so long, so you're gonna have a lot of downtime where your Spectre is farming. What does your OD do as well? He's gonna farm. You've got these two big farming cores, the issues you mentioned. It's gonna be constant. They need to find a way to kind of counteract that. Maybe 496 surprises us with her speed. Maybe they play a more aggressive OD game, just focusing on, say, a Blink 4 staff build. It's kind of getting in there, set up the orb to get the arrow follow up and just find pickoffs like that. That's one way to execute that to buy space out there for the Spectre. Neon, though, still have that flexibility on hand. I reckon it's going to be the Yopaj Mars, as you mentioned. Not the JG, but the Play Hard. No, okay. They do last pick the Play Hard hero. Nyx
Wow.
for Play Hard, I think. Again, just flexing out. Yeah. Nyx Play Hard, JG Snap, Yopaj Mars. Again, both teams just going very left field here, Mike, for the last game in their series. No other team would ever draft this way. No other two teams would go back and forth like this, but that's what I love about Southeast Asian Dota. You get something completely different sometimes.
I do agree. I do really like that about SCA. And John, I was telling you when I was working, with the EU tournament, I was like, man, I miss SCA. It's just nothing's like SCA. You never see the same thing. In the second game, it's always something crazy, and
Mm.
Well, there's your Nyx Assassin now. The Nyx Assassin is pretty good though, right? Like
Oh yeah.
into the Phoenix, into the OD. It
Mm.
can be quite frustrating for these heroes to deal with the spike carapace of the Nyx Assassin.
Yeah.
So
Like,
you could argue there's quite a bit of value there.
oh, for sure. Like this is an excellent last pick for Neon. Not just the OD and the Phoenix, but even the Void Spirit, right? Like Resonant Pulse, Dissimulate, the Remnant, all of that's gonna be popped by a simple press of the E on play hard, and suddenly that Void Spirit is gonna be stuck for a bit long. Get the follow-up stuns. 496 have a lot to bring out here. They need to get their farming patterns locked in with Hung and Drew. They need to try to figure out their game plan. I can't say it's straight up team fights, although their team fight is looking good. But OD, right, is a hero that has an amazing hammer drop with the Santis Eclipse. But you need some farm to really get that up to a good point. There's not much mana here from Neon. At the same time, the OD's damage multipliers does require a bit more of a gap. So Hung's gonna have to build up there. Drew, again, has to make the Spectre work. It just hasn't quite shown up here in Southeast Asia as much. Right? Like we see it picked more. You mentioned its influence from the EU, but it doesn't feel like it's really hit its stride. And I think Drew's got to put in the work. It's going to be hard to share that farm with the OD, but maybe they get the space out. Bombi is on his Comfort Phoenix. You love to point that out. He's just amazing on that hero. And we'll see if he can pull out something special here up against the side of Neon.
I'm very excited, John. As you may have just heard, I popped open another monster. Getting ready.
Oh yeah.
You want cookies?
Gotta keep it up.
Absolutely. Neon, they'll group up as 5 already and start going down towards that bot lane, see if they can set up an early first blood attempt. It's another thing we love to see out of SCA. Always looking for an opportunity to kill someone off.
Yep, that we do. I love John Uel though. God bless him. He's just spamming the I hate lifeline. That's my favorite one.
Well, this is one of your favorite heroes as well, John the Undying, and you
Yep.
always complain to me about how bad the hero is, but Januel's been making it look very good so far.
Yeah, he's a higher skill player. You know, it takes a little bit more skill, better positioning, better aggression. Now, I'm not that. I like Brain Dead Undying, where you just dominate the lane by pressing Q and you win. You know, it's that easy before. It was that easy before when tri lanes were such a big thing. They're like, okay, we know there's a tri lane. I'll just play Undying. And it's so much more work in the dual lane. But again, as you mentioned, John Uel has just been perfect in his spacing. It should be a bit trickier here. That BB plus Jokam
hold
on that
on.
Mirana is a bit spaced out. Yeah.
You're telling me all these years you've been complaining about Undying. It's really just a matter of you want to be lazy and not do it the hard way.
Exactly.
Oh.
That is it.
Oh, play hard. He
Oh.
copped a very long arrow there, John. It's gonna not be enough, it seems like, as that BP's being chased down. Who gets it first? It is gonna be Chanuel. Play hard is gonna make a run for it, and he might just be fine. Bombi, last Fire Spirit, does get juked out. Play hard is gonna be okay to run back. Oh, play hard, careful.
Ooh.
Gonna be alright. Scary, scary dealings here with play hard, but they do get the first blood on the side of Neon, and well, John, long behold, it was Januel on the Undying.
I'd love to see it. Just getting the spacing out. These are not particularly tanky heroes coming out here on the side of 496. Like that BB has very little HP to speak of to start with. So as soon as you start piling on those decays, you can get the space out. And this is because John Uel did go for a bit of a greedy start. It's a pause 5 Undying, but he does have brown boots. He does not have mangoes, no clarities, one set of tangos, and even a shared tango coming out. So it is enabled by him running down, and because of that kill, he does get some mangoes out now as well.
I like it. So there's one big problem with the Undying as well, right? Is you have 295 movement speed or something like that without boots, and it's just so slow to keep up. Even with the decays, in fact, Scam just going to move forward, hoping for a bash. Doesn't get it, but you can see how much they're dominating this bot lane already. It really doesn't seem like it's going to get any easier. Just look at Genuel. He keeps getting 2-man decays off. How do you fight this Undying? He's got 20 decay stacks right now.
You don't? And that BB is just way too slow. I'm looking at him. 420 HP, Mike. 420.
Nice. 420. Love to see it. He's kind of screwed here, that BB. Dokkan will get chased down by the Undying, cop a few hits, and just can't do anything about it because Undying has 1,000 HP apparently. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And you're telling me this is a bad hero, John?
I mean, Januel's just playing so good with it. It's again enabled by this boot start. He had the confidence to skip these mangoes. Like, say if he didn't find first blood there, then you're stuck with boots and tangos as an Undying. And then what are you gonna do when you run out of mana? That's the big issue there. But he makes it work.
Top lane. Apologies for the T-tools, by the way, but Drew does go down. JG able to pick it up. I suppose it is a double stun lane with Playhard and JG there on the Snapfire Nyx Assassin, but I wouldn't expect the Spectre to die this early on.
It's one shortcoming of this lane for 496, right? Spectre plus Phoenix doesn't necessarily get too much out, and Bombi's really tied into his cooldowns and fire spirits, and it's that natural Nyx counter lane. Like, you've got level 2 here in Playhard. He can opt to go for the Spike Carapace. Once you have that, and Bombi really has no way of harassing out the Snapfire at all. JG should have an easy time, and it's still a Snapfire. It's a melee hero against Snap. Scatter Blast is just so painful for even a Spectre to do.
Mid lane, great arrow out for Dokkan, but they don't have the damage. Maybe with the Astral, but I highly doubt it. Yeah, Yopaj, he's going to be okay. He does get very low, 60 HP, but he will dance his way up. Maybe we see another arrow from Jokam. He has it up again. But it looks like Yopaj with those bottle charges is going to be okay. Hung, he doesn't have the what is it even called? The Arcane Orb. To be able to really get that damage out. So Yopaj, even if they land another arrow, he's just too healthy.
It's an interesting result as well. I expected Hung to maybe have a better time with the Astral spam, but it's just not working out. Yopaj is actually ahead in last hits. Hung is lagging about a creep wave behind, and we're going to hit those power rune timings now.
Play hard. Gonna show up. The Nyx Assassin, just drain some mana. Be annoying as possible up against the OD. It's another thing with the OD as well. You really don't enjoy getting mana drained by this Nyx Assassin. So it does get sort of annoying. Hung looks like he will just go ahead and maybe just deal with the jungle, or maybe not. He'll just go back towards Yopaj in the mid lane. That's another thing I forgot to mention, John. Neon actually picked up 2 of your favorite heroes, being the Nyx and the Undying, both of which you claim are terrible. If Neon win this game, we're going to be having some words about your performances, John. Gonna have to have a chat and see what you're doing wrong.
Don't, please don't. Still, they're making work. Play hard.
Nice cookie up, JG into the Scatter Blast, and man, that's a lot of damage to come out. And well, I guess we just found out how Drew died initially. It's just too much damage.
It's the Scatter Blast building up. It's level 3 now in JG. And again, when you're close enough, it just melts people.
Great kill there from Skem. Januel setting up another one on the Undying. Another 16th strength stolen on that Undying, and he just keeps dancing. He's having a thriller of a game. Excuse my pun, John.
Yeah, and Januel, you know, seeing that they're in the Philippines, right? They're in Manila, they're boot camp. You could say he's having a Trilla in Manila.
Ah, you're getting very clever with these puns, sir. Top lane, JG, gonna be in a spot of danger, or maybe not, because he turns around with Scatter Blast. It does a lot of damage. In fact, at level 3, what is it? 220 plus... Isn't it 50%? Yeah, 50% of 220, John. 110. 330 damage at level 3 with that Scatter Blast, assuming you get it in that point-blank kind of range. It's a lot. It's mid lane, Yopaj. Gonna go on to Jokam now with the Impale not connecting, and Hung, you'll have the Astral just in case, but there's a nice little Spike Carapace out from Play Hard. He'll take a raindrop charge off Hung.
It's a lot of emphasis down mid. They're still trying to recover this lane for Hung. I mean, he's still keeping up somewhat in last hits. 21 to 10 is not a great look when your opposing Mars is at 39 to 15. But the supports being tied up does at least give some breathing room to the side lanes. Although, pop.
Nice chrono out from Scam, and that is Drew gone again. That's just a very simple conversation. We didn't, excuse me, a very simple combination we didn't talk about is the Chrono and the Mortimer's Kisses. In fact, JG still going now onto Bombi. He does have the Icarus Dive, not using it yet. Bombi playing with fire there, but does eventually get out. While this OD mid lane, Yopaj almost kills him off. Very, very close call for him, surviving on about 35 HP, but he's going to be able to run out of there just fine.
They're really keeping up that
Bombi.
momentum here, Neon.
Scam? Scam, you've got to hit the Phoenix, sir. Cookie,
Oh.
not going to land. Drew going to come in with a dagger, and that'll just make it so they can't go after him unless the arrow connects. Drew got to be slightly cautious. Scam trying to run, though. He's a bit too low in HP. But there is more TPs coming in. Januel's here now with Yopaj. They did show themselves TPing in, but it looks like they want to try and make the play onto Drew, and Drew has not backed off. Drew, you can't stay like that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's going to try and fight this one out, but Januel again with the tombstone, and that BB tries to take it, but it gets denied off. That's tough. That is tough.
Yeah, it's not quite the lineup still.
BB going to go after Januel. They do get the Undying. Spear going to be there onto the OD. Yopaj trying to make a run for it, but they get the Astral off. JG, how do you help this one out? Well, Sanity's dropped. Yopaj will end up going down, but now Playhard going to TP in. But it's not going to matter. The fight is over, and 496 do at least manage to get a couple kills before the fight was done.
Yep, it's a recovery move from 496. They were just lucky Hung did have a haste there. So that did enable them to come in, drop the hammer, find a couple of pickoffs. Really good punishment onto Yopaj. That was a big one. So they managed to slow down the Morris just a tad. Biggest issue right now, though, I'm looking at net worth. We're still at 9 minutes in. But Scam is just so far ahead. 4.1k net worth. Compare that to all the farm on 496. Both cores just sitting at 2.7. Just nearly 2k up, and it's just right before the 10-minute mark. This is not what you want to see from 496. Scam is just going to get into the Mask of Madness. In fact, he's already got the gold, just doesn't have his courier to send it out.
Yeah, meanwhile, mid lane, Yopaj easily setting up a very nice kill there onto Hung with the arena and the spear. And you pointed out the net worth difference between Drew. Speaking of, there goes Drew. JG apparently just kills him off. But you were pointing out the difference between Scam and Drew in terms of net worth, but even Yopaj and Hung, it's just a massive difference in terms of how much gold they've accumulated over this game. It's going to be problematic with the 4k net worth lead prior to the 10-minute mark. Definitely some very bad news for 496.
Really not lining up. The Spectre draft needs to make something happen. We're seeing the Blade Mail build up, although that BB.
He's going to go into the 8th Remnant. That BB does manage to get the bounty, but Playhard going to chase him down. Impale not going to connect yet, but Yopaj is waiting, and he missed the spear. Oh, everyone just missing. And that BB, he's thinking about reinitiating, but it's probably not advised, as he will back off and just take the other bounty rune. And oh, that BB. I didn't realize how bad his net worth was, John. 2.3k on the offlane Void Spirit.
Barely above his own Phoenix. And that's not where you want to be on the offlane Void Spirit. Now, he does have levels. With that, he can at least play. He just heals up. I want to go back to that last fight, Mike. You said everyone missed. I want to point out that Playhard never threw out an Impale. And he can't miss if he doesn't throw it out. That's my kind of playbook. So props to Playhard.
And you wonder why we lose games, John. As he mixes Assassin Playhard, Spy Carapace. He's going to try and make a run, but they should have the damage output, and that is going to be a very nice Impale. It just isn't going to matter.
He landed it, though.
He did. Style points have been achieved. That's all he really got out of this. Still, T1 tower in the mid lane. It's not going to go down. They fortify. Siege creep gone.
They do manage to take the top tier one here. Scam just kind of commits all by himself. Finds a free objective. You're not finding the counter trades from 496. They sort of work their way down. Bot. Drew is in position to try to shove in. But none of these heroes push particularly fast, so they're going to have to commit the numbers to get that tower down.
Bit of a catch-up kind of time for 496, but Neon they're well and truly online, so they want to go for some kill attempts here with the big smoke out. Or maybe even just set up for that tier 1 mid tower. Fortification is going to be forced very early, even without a siege creep. They're just going to stick around, Neon. They don't care. They have Chrono, they have the kisses, they have the arena. They have everything. Astral is going to catch out on Undying, but he's going to be alright as he comes. No, he's not. That was actually that BB going down. Play hard. It's going to be alright. Spike Carapace does catch out onto the Phoenix now with Skem jumping in, but the Astral's going to be there still. He's caught the better target anyway. He's got Hung, and it looks like Hung is going to go down quick, but here comes Drew with the Haunt in. He needs a target to focus on. He wants Skem, but Skem is running, and Skem looks to be okay. Is now the Sunray from Bombi, but a great Impale coming out from Playhard into the Spike. Carapace and Yopaj going to make his way back in. They want to keep fighting here, Neon. They are relatively low. They have used all their ultimates. And so 496 do successfully defend that mid-tier 1 tower. They will lose Hung while trying to do so. I suppose if you're Neon, you're still going to be pretty satisfied with that.
Yeah, you wasted out the Santis Eclipse, you wasted a Haunt. They didn't really find anything for that 496, so that means they're going to spend the next 2 minutes or so farming up. And Neon is going to have their spells slightly earlier. Like the kisses for JG are about half a minute off. The Chrono is about a minute 40, but still earlier than the Haunt and the Santi, so they've still got opportunities. You can see how confident Playhard is just walking up, scouting out to ensure that Scam is safe, and they can't even punish Nyx Assassin for stepping out of line.
Well, at least Drew now does have the Blade Mail up, so he's finally got that, and as you can see, gotta love the fact that Blade Mail works on Ancients for some reason. So with Dispersion, these Ancients go down quite quick. Which is why we see this build up so often now on Spectres.
Yeah. It's got to do a little bit more though. Drew needs to maximize his farm and Yopaj.
Yopaj getting that BB once again. That mid lane, Joe Cam will just deny off that mid tier 1 tower. Play hard. Doesn't have the invis, but he's just going to run in, pops an arrow, has the Spike Carapace, and will pop it in time. And Joe Cam can't really follow up. That's pretty much it. He's out of mana. Nobody else wanted to deal with the Nyx Assassin. They just let Playhard walk out of there.
Yeah, and again, that's one beautiful thing that Playhard's doing. He's just constantly cutting off and making weird movements happen on the dome.
Oh, they're chasing him, but he has another Spike Carapace up. So it's not going to mean anything. In fact, he uses it onto Hung. He has the Impale in a second. Cookie forward, of course, not going to land on anyone. But they're okay with this. They've taken over the Dire Triangle. There's really nowhere for 496 to farm right now. Well, poor old Hung. Just look at his farm, John. It's abysmal.
It is. It is. And he's still saving up for the Ags play. We talked about what we want to see out, right? We've wanted a faster OD, maybe a 4-staff, maybe a Hurricane Pike kind of build up for early aggression. Not there. And that just means you've got 2 heavy farming heroes that are just getting dived on now.
Group up down to that bot lane. Scam does get caught by the 8th Remnant. Has the Chrono to use, but won't pop it out quite yet. Yopaj though.
Ooh.
He'll happily jump in.
Ooh, man. 496, 4 times behind. 12-3, 6k lead now for Neon at the 16-minute mark. They're looking at that tier 1 bot. They do have Haunt and Santis, but they don't really have the best setup, and Playhard's just scouting Haunt.
Right, Carapace again into the... It's just... He could have just solo killed him. Oh. Oh, he gives them the Talentless as well.
Ooh.
Ouch. Bot lane. Joe Cam's gone as well. Mortimer's Kisses and Chrono being committed. They have also spotted out Bombi. Chase is on. Bombi does have the Icarus dive, but does not want to go through Playhard, who does miss the Impale. but there's the Icarus dive into the egg. He really has no choice in the matter. He does actually survive, it seems like. This egg is not going to make it. It does eventually go down to JG, and now the arena out from Yopaj. Drew, he's been left by himself. Scoot, or rather Scam, does go in. Drew is going to be able to Spectral Dagger away. You see all those pings for that tombstone, like somebody just kill that damn thing off, but nobody can reach it. Drew gonna go back for it now. He is gonna be able to at least get it before it expires. Nice bit of gold for him. Scam gonna get cookied forward, cannot get the stun off. But it's just complete domination here from Neon Esports once again in game 2. They are well and truly on their way to probably pulling off a 2-0 victory if this keeps up.
Oh, play hard.
Yeah, he's in trouble. That BB getting speed up will go after the Nyx Assassin once again and does get him at least. Paj doesn't have the arena up yet, so he can't really chase any further. Meanwhile, Astral is there, Hung setting up with the arrow follow-up, and they will get Januel. So 2 nice kills. That'll pretty much be it, Neon. They'll just walk out of there now, not willing to risk any more deaths from their team. They should be alright.
Nice pickups for 496. Not the biggest ones, but you'll take what you can get at this point. And that does give them a little bit more breathing room while those heroes are down. Fairly short respawn timers, though. The arena is back up on Yopaj along with the Kisses, so JG, Yopaj, they're smoked up.
Scam to go in. He doesn't have the chrono up, and they've got to be a bit cautious because Bombi does have the egg. Only problem being that is still a level 1 egg, and JG can just, you know, use that little shredder.
Drew.
But Arena is there from Yopaj with the spear in and the Mortimer's Kisses through. He's trying to blade mail, but he cannot survive the damage. Now the run in from the Void Scam doesn't really have chrono up yet. That BB trying to fight, but he just can't. There's just no damage output. Yopaj skews him to a tree. He's on the run. He has no steps to use. He will go down. I mean, what do you do here as 496? They're just too far behind with such a greedy draft, and top
Look at
lane.
Hung. Oh no.
Oh no. It's a tough one, John. It's a very, very tough game here for 496.
Yep. It's a farming game. They went for this ridiculously greedy draft, and now the Spectre doesn't have farm, neither does the OD, right? Like, they're both sitting at 5.9 and 6.9 each. I'm still seeing this Ags build up from our OD, and I don't think that's going to do anything for Hung. It's just not. Like, yeah, you'll have more presence with Astral Charges, but what will you really accomplish with that? You still have Lucius here in that BB.
He's going to stick around, but Yopaj again just blinking in with another great spear, and that BB just gets destroyed. This mid-Mars by Yopaj, it's a real problem. For the other team, of course, not him. Play hard does at least go down. So 496 get a bit of a consolation prize there in the form of the Nyx Assassin. But the problem is now the Roshan is being taken, and it looks like they are not going to be able to make it in time to try and contest.
No, definitely not. I mean, they do have the Haunting Sanities, but they do have vision.
They're trying.
That it is happening.
They're coming. Arrow. Well, they're going to see the Roshan out of the pit anyway, so they know they have left the pit. Hung does have a double damage rune, so he wouldn't really mind going for a fight right now, but not really going to get the opportunity. And Scam just right back in. Joe Cam going to have his smoke broken, trying to scout this out. They've preemptively dropped the tombstone, making it very hard to initiate here from 496, and I don't believe they can. They have to let it go.
Yeah, no way. There's just sitting on the Haunt, the egg. They don't find the opportunity, and now Neon with the advantage can just invade.
Zombie, you've got to dive faster than that, sir. He still has the dive, but he cannot get it off. Just holding on way too long. He placed the ward. He knew where Yopaj was, but wanted to save the dive, and it does cost him. Meanwhile, top lane, that BB getting caught out now.
Ooh,
Mid lane,
it's
play hard. Spike Carapace gonna hold down the OD into the Impale. JoeCam's hitting the Nyx Assassin, but play hard does not really care. They're gonna try and chase him down, but he'll just turn back around for a mana drain. And Hung just loses so much HP in the process. Now with another Spike Carapace out into the Spear of Yopaj, that's your OD gone. You can't really chase the Nyx Assassins as this OD.
no.
Oh, Yopaj, he found another spear. Just skewering some chicken, John.
Yep. Some flaming chicken being filled out. 496. 11k behind. I'm not seeing any angle to come back in. Now, all fairness to Drew, he is in a good spot in terms of farm, 3rd place. So at least he's keeping up with Yapash's farm. Definitely being eclipsed here by Skem. Does have the Manta up on the Spectre, but that's just not enough by itself. You need more from your ODE. You need to line up these team fights. You need to get the haunting Drew.
And Yopaj has found him. He has a dust for the Moonlight Shadow. Play hard even going to come in. And that is your Spectre gone. This is what Neon does. They get a good start and they run you down. Moonlight Shadow, but they're going to know. They skewer again onto that BB. Now JoeCam trying to help out, but it is not going to be of any use. Spike Carapace from Playhard going to hold down Hung. At this point, I would just stop astraling people if I was Hung. I would just stop altogether. Like, there's just no point. Sunray going to be cancelled by Playhard into the Impale again, and Skem's going to be there for a free and easy kill. Meanwhile, Yopaj, oh, let the torture end. Just let it end. I mean, it's 13k net worth lead, and it's complete domination.
It is. They did manage to find Curious though, but JoeCam's going to pay for that with his life.
He's out of mana. Playhard's got him. He will stick charge, try to go for the TB play, and Playhard waits to the last millisecond. Oh, JoeCam, he'll have to just run.
Oh!
No, they had the urn.
Oh boy. 496. I don't know what to say, Mike. I've said the same thing over and over again, but it's down to... Ooh,
Yopaj, he makes a mistake. Spear's not going to be on the mark either. Skem has the chrono up though. Bombi gonna get bashed first hit right into Yopaj, and now we have the Aghanim Scepter Snapfire up and online. There goes your Phoenix Egg. JG picks it up, and it looks like there's your chrono into a spear as well, straight onto Hung. It's not as much damage as I would expect from Skem, but he will eventually get there. Hung trying to astral his way to victory. It is not going to work, and they also kill off that BB. Genuel picking that one up, and Playhard will continue to just spam the voice lines.
Oh boy. Playhard. Just laying it on, and 496. What did they do? I haunt Santi somehow high ground up with the egg. They need to find that angle. I don't know if they can. Versus Scotty up now on Skem, and well, tier 3's not gonna last too long here.
Arrow not going to be on the mark either. There's a lot of damage from that Sunray from Bombi. It just isn't going to matter because Skem can just time walk, and now Yopaj jumps in again. Just pump fakes him. Now the Aghanim Scepter Snapfire. This is kind of like an NBA team playing against 5-year-olds right now, it looks like. It's a really tough game for 496.
Oh.
That BB, he does avoid the spear. It's just a very, very tough situation, and it kind of goes back to the draft, right, John? It was too greedy. Way too greedy.
Yeah, there's no way you expect the OD Inspector to share farm good enough, and Hung calls it.
Yeah.
26 minutes, 37-8. Domination here from Neon. They find that 2-0 they need to climb up, and they do it in really, really convincing fashion. So really well played from Neon, carrying through that momentum, and that should see them inch closer towards a playoff spot. We'll see if they can hold that momentum, as they do have 2 series left. 496, they still are in a pretty good spot in groups. It's not like they're knocked down, to anything that's unclimbable now. They were number 6. This should drag them to number 7. So they're in an okay spot, but they have to also find wins as it goes on.
With that, of course, we do move on to our third series of the night, and it's going to be two different teams this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Neon, they're done for the night. We do have TNC Predator up against Signal Ultra coming up as our third series. Should be a very fun one, John. It is, of course, MLP Dota and johnxfire. We'll see you all again in 10 minutes for that next series. And, of course, while we're in the break, let's get those cat jams going in the Twitch chat, John. I do enjoy just cat jamming while we're waiting. We'll see you all again very, very soon.